Alright guys, so today I'm going to be showing you my red star pulls and my orb pulls for Madelyne Pryor, the new steroid injected into the Marauders team, and she makes the Marauders team a force to be reckoned with. The counters are going to be limited. In this video I'm also going to show 3 teams that I'm playing around with as like my go-to counters. There is an overlap on 2 of them. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But I haven't done a full deep dive into my roster in trying to find a more creative counter to this team. I'm actually concerned there may not be because of how strong the strife is on the opening. But we're going to get into that. I'm going to have a much more detailed, professionalized, that's a word, video for countering the Marauders in the future. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's go open some orbs. Here we're going to goof around with some seed theory. Try not to take too long with it. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, and then we'll talk about some ISOs, some T4s, some of the regular stuff we like to do on these videos. First things first, let's drop that magical 400k number. This is probably all in our heads, guys, but it's still kind of fun. So it is what it is. The game's about having fun, right? So we spent 400k. Let's open up some gold orbs, and we'll see if we can get either 375 in the middle pillar or a million anywhere else. That's orb 2, orb 3, orb 4. There's orb 5. Okay, that's, I think, 350. I think that's what we wanted, not 375. Cool. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a 5. The reason I do this is because I can get 5 on Madelyne, then I'm set, and I just don't care anymore. She's a war defense character, probably really good in tower as well, and probably going to be useful in the new Cosmic Crucible. But I don't want to waste my entire stock on her, which I think we're going to end up doing because I normally don't get very lucky. So hopefully I am proven wrong right here. It is a yellow, and it is Green Goblin. I think I now have most Sinister 6 at 6 or higher. Let's continue that trend. See if we can get Madelyne here. And we don't, but we did get another 5. So hopefully Madelyne will pop out of this one, please. And that's not her either. That's 3 orbs. So here comes number 4. Alright, that gives us an Elite 4, and hopefully this will be it right here. Come on, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. We're done. That is a successful opening, guys. I'll take that, even in the face of that 6 red star Green Goblin. I'm very happy with that. So, let's go ahead and move on to her shards. And here we go. So we got 8 of them. Hopefully we can fill up at least, well, no. We will fill up 3 of those stars. If we're super lucky, we'll fill up a 4th one. I am only buying 1 Madelyne Pryor offer. Times are just a little tight. So we got an 8, we got a 6. Hitting that low average. It looks like we're going to stay that way. Oh, there's a 12. That brings us back up to par. Oh, this one's taking a while. Oh, it's a blue. A nice fat 20. I'll take that all day. Okay. Okay, alright, here's the big lucky one. Here's a big purple drop. Let's go! No. That's okay. Sometimes you gotta try and will it into existence, even if you you know better. So, let's go ahead and promote her up. I'm just gonna bring her up to level 60 for this video, and then we'll talk about some abilities and stuff. T4s that I suggest. I haven't actually looked at her all the way, so this is gonna be my first impressions given to you guys. I did play against her on the playtest server, and she is very, very strong. I'm curious how much of that strength is going to be hidden behind T4s. Oops, I got to build her up a little bit here. I think we just got to bring up to level 5 for all of her abilities to be open to us. Or just number 4, maybe? There we go. So we're just clicking away, clicking away. Ooh, I saw a glimpse of what that ultimate is. That ultimate looks like it's going to be pretty important. But let's start from the basics and move our way down. On War Defense, it'll flip 3 additional positive effects on the primary target. That's very strong, but the first thing we need to do when we see a strong basic like that is go check msf.gg and see if that made it into her ISO attack. And it did make it into her ISO attack, and it is increased by 1 flip with that T4. So that's going to be a must-have T4 for sure. Next, we move on to her special. 50% damage to primary and secondary Targets, I mean, she's very strong, so that's a luxury one. But yeah, I would, if you're going hard on the defensive team, you know, damage is good. Turn matches into 4v5s real quick. And that is her opening attack. So although the special is by far not mandatory, probably pretty strong. This ultimate, instead of flipping 3 positive effects on the primary target, it's going to flip all positive effects. This is going to be interesting, because there's going to be... Well, first of all, the damage is insane. So yeah, you're going to want this T4. It's going to... If the match reaches this point, and you haven't lost anyone in your Marauders team yet, it's probably going to nuke somebody, and then you're going to move on. So, is this mandatory? Yes. And we'll talk about why I kind of question that when we get to the ISO selection. And then we go to the Goblin Queen passive. 25% chance to assist on non-attack abilities. 10% damage for controlled characters. Yeah, this is an absolute must. This passive is what kind of counters the Shadowlands. The 10% damage for controlled attacker is going to be huge. And the 25% chance to assist on non-attacks is going to be great. So, she's actually going to gain 50% chance to attack on non-attack abilities. That's really strong, and she has a pretty decent damage stat. And so many members on her team don't do damage on their abilities, right? There's the Strafe. He's going to open up with Taunt. There's Sinister. Both of his opening attacks don't. Then there's Emma. I wonder if Emma's are considered attack abilities, though, because they do put Vulnerables out. That's going to be something I'm going to have to look into. But going to her ISOs, there's going to be 2 worlds here, okay? There's going to be the world where... Oh, I don't have enough support ISOs for her. That's okay. We'll farm those. If you are going to have a very, very, very big Madelyne Pryor, I'm going to suggest Striker. I think Striker is going to be huge damage for this character on those assist attacks, and just on her damage overall, it's going to be a lot. But if you're like me, and she's probably going to be a little small for the competition you go against, I would suggest Skirmisher, even though she's going to get a bunch of focus from other means. And the reason we're going to do this is to make sure she lands that special. I'm starting with Skirmisher. Once I fill those 5 reds, I'll probably switch her to Striker, which means she's probably not getting blue ISO Skirmisher from me. I'll hold off and do Striker. Alright guys, that's it for the orb opening. I'm going to do kind of a mini war counter guide now at this point. I'm going to do a much more refined with infographics and the like later on this week. But for now, I wanted to make sure you have some teams that you can use to take on this new Marauder team with. They're no joke. There's a lot of teams that you used to use. Shadowlands, Z-Factor, maybe some people are using Uncanny, Ravagers. They're just not going to work against this new version. So we got to make sure we know what we can use. So we have Secret Avengers with Kestrel doing a punch across. This one's pretty straightforward. There's a couple moments of RNG. I'll show them a little bit. I have lost this matchup. Probably 10% of the time I lost. Well, no, that's maybe 5% of the time I lost. So that right there, Strafe has the first ability in the game. He does his taunt, which is going to call in an assist from enemies. If Madelyne gets called in for an assist, there's a 50% chance of that. And he goes for Fury, so it's 20% chance it targets Fury, and then 50% chance that Madelyne is going to get called in the assist. It could flip that speed up, which makes Mystique go before Fury, and she will always stun the Fury. Which can be very annoying. We're not going to use our special, we're not going to get that speed up or defense up, and that can cause some problems. Didn't happen here. This is actually going to be a very clean run. I wish I had captured one of the bad ones. And here's our next RNG check right now. With that charge mechanic from Strife, he's getting a bunch of extra resist, not to mention the defense up. But Kestrel's ultimate has 5,000% focus. We're not too worried about that. What we're actually worried about is this deflect on Strife right here. That is, I think it's 50% chance that it's just going to straight block it, and then you cannot land the defense down, you cannot pull the taunt off, you cannot pull the defense up off, and that can be an issue. That's actually not going to happen here. But when it does happen, you get kind of stuck, and you need to just keep beating into the Strife. But in the event that it does pull it off, you get a bunch of speed. Sharon can then go stun the Emma, so you don't have to worry about getting slowed, and then even if Madelyne pops off with her special, well, Kestrel's going to shrug all the debuffs off very quickly, and then you're just going to get to kind of run the gambit on these guys, which is what you're going to see right here. So that Madelyne special, it's so oppressive that ability block on Maria and on Cap Sam, then you got the offense down on Kestrel. She just does a whack of different things to different kind of classes, right? But anyway, with Kestrel getting that immunity, clearing those nasty debuffs from herself, she kind of carries the entire weight of the team. You can see those pings just doing insane damage. And we're just going to wrap it up here. So that's good for a punch across. I think you could maybe punch up 50k, plus minus 50k is the range I would suggest doing this attack in. And this is actually pretty good news, because even though people have big Marauders built up from back in the day, people have big Secret Avengers built up from the raid. Next up, we have Infinity Watch. This is kind of like the nuclear option right away. You can easily do 150k punch up with this. I'm actually in this video going to hit straight auto and just let it play itself out, and you're going to see it's a very easy win. So the reason we had to jump straight into Infinity Watch after Secret Avengers is basically because this team is that good. The Ravagers, the Z Factor, the Shadowlands, they just don't work against these guys anymore, and they're like the biggest war offensive teams we have, besides what I would call the Big Five. The Big Five would be like Darkhold, Eternals, Weapon X, Infinity Watch, and I'm missing one, Dark Hunters. And Dark Hunters won't even work here, so you gotta take them out right away. So he does Infinity Watch, Weapon X, Eternals, and Darkhold. Well, Weapon X kind of save them for Dormammu and Heroes for Hire or Young Avengers, right? Weapon X is the best war offense team in the game. Then you have Darkhold. Darkhold might actually put Weapon X, give them a run for their money. But Darkhold is going to be great against Dormammu teams and against Young Avengers teams. I got to assume they're going to rip them apart. I actually haven't tested that yet. I'm going to have to. And then you have Eternals. Eternals are great for Young Avenger teams and for Dormammu teams. So that basically just leaves Infinity Watch. Now, Infinity Watch can work against Heroes for Hire, but it's kind of yucky. So that's why you kind of like your Dark Hunters there. Infinity Watch can sometimes work against Young Avengers on big punch downs, but definitely not recommended when you start seeing these like million-powered Young Avenger teams. And Infinity Watch just do not work against Dormammu teams or Darkhold teams. So I definitely would suggest not using Infinity Watch anywhere like that. Ergo, they are great for taking on this new Marauder team. Either that or you might end up throwing your Infinity Watch on defense. Depends what your alliance needs are. But yeah, this is the matchup I'm probably going to be using because I don't like taking risks. But here's another team that I found that was very useful for me. Z Factor, but I replaced multiple men with Kestrel. This obviously takes away from your Secret Avengers team, but I think I have a plan for Secret Avengers. I'll share that later. But just the 4-piece, the Fury, Maria, Sharon, and Cap Sam without Kestrel, I think they're still very strong. I think they're stronger than Z Factor, and they might be usable in Doom matches with a certain 5th member. And I'm going to be doing some testing. Maybe this is going to be a waste, but I figured I'd share this with you guys anyway. I actually found this matchup to be a bit cleaner than the Secret Avengers matchup. I never lost this one. I did it about 20 times. The problem with this match is it's practice mode. I can't simulate the deflex. I tried to get this match live tonight in War, but we pulled a Shell Alliance, which was really lame. But yeah, the deflex will obviously change how Zemo's interaction works here, right? He won't get any crits, or he could possibly not get any crits. That can cause a problem. But the way this matchup works is basically Shatterstar gets those defense downs out there, and Kestrel kills somebody before anything happens, which is really great. And then what you want to do, say Madelyne was alive. The reason I use the special is because if Madelyne was alive, I want to use that special. It gives me the immunity, it gives me the speed up. I don't have to worry about anything from Madelyne coming in debuff-wise. And that just gets Kestrel popping a little bit faster. Then she can use her ultimate on the Stripe to clear it, and then you can kind of just pick the targets off that you want to pick off. But anyway, there we go. We stalled out. Strife would have lost his deflex by this turn of the match, so your ultimate will clear him at that point as well. And then we're just going to go in and clean up. I guess we'll let it play out. But yeah, so those are the 3 teams. I know there was a repeat there with Kestrel. I'm pretty confident I can find a better use for Secret Avengers, even without Kestrel. Yeah, nothing else worked. I tried a lot of Doom teams with like Star-Lord and some speed gimmicks. Didn't really work out as well as I would have hoped. I'm sure there's a Kestrel Doom team that would work, but I think that's a lot to pull out. But But anyway, guys, that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, like, share, and subscribe that video, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and yeah, bye.